Welcome to the 8th and final video in our introductory training series. My name is Jamie, and in this video I'll be presenting a few of the most commonly used functions in the advanced management component of the Harvester module. Let's get started. You'll recall from the tutorial videos for the Trends module and TS Matrix module that the software provides us with a substantial amount of information about what's happening in the market. The software is specifically built to incorporate market signals from the TS Matrix module and the Trends module as criteria by which our trades are executed or not. This allows us to take the guesswork out of placing trades, and it allows us to build our trading strategies to be executed only within market guidelines that we pre-select. Let's click on Advanced Management. Here in the Advanced Management window, we specify events and actions which will cause the harvesters to start trading and stop trading. There are so many functions which can be applied here that there are simply too many to address in this portion of the tutorial videos. However, we'll delve more into the variety of events and how we might use these events in the advanced tutorials. For now, we'll illustrate just a couple of the more commonly used events and how we set them up for use in our trading strategy. You'll see here on the left that you have your event, and on the right you have the action that will be taken when that event occurs. So let's go into our event window, and for purposes of this demonstration we'll select TS Matrix, all non-entries synchronized, and any entry, and then click Setup. We'll see an empty TS Matrix window, and now we can select which indicators we want to trigger our trading strategy. So first we'll select our pair from the drop-down menu. Now we'll take a look at the various indicators below. For purposes of this demonstration, let's look at the Forex Stat Trend Indicator, and we'll take a look at this 30-minute time frame. If we click on this gray dot with the left mouse button, we can toggle through a green arrow, a red arrow, or a flat blue line in order to set the parameters we're looking for. If we're trading a long position, we'd want to see a green upward arrow. Conversely, if we're trading a short position, we'd be selecting a red downward facing arrow. So let's just say we wish to trade a long position on our pair. Ideally, we'd want the trend on the 30-minute chart and the 60-minute chart to both be pointing upward. So we would select a green upward-facing arrow as our trend indicator. This means that no trade would be placed unless the pair was trending upward on the 30-minute and 60-minute charts. You'll recall, however, that the event we've selected indicates not only that all of these non-entry positions must be synchronized, but also that any entry signal that we select is also synchronized. Therefore, we must choose our entry signal, or signals, as well. It's my preference to choose an entry signal within a time frame that is significantly lower than our trend signal, so for this example I'll select the Forex Stat Trend Indicator entry on the 5-minute chart. Again, you have your choice of whatever you like here. So if we now look at what we have told the software, we see that we've indicated that we wish only to trade when the 30-minute and 60-minute trend are in sync, and if any one of our entry signals are also in sync with our 30 and 60-minute trend. So now we click OK. Back here in our Advanced Management window, we'll select under Action that we would like to start our harvester, and we'll tell the software which harvester ID number we would like to start. Let's just call this harvester number 1. Now we click Add to add this to our list of events. I like to double check this setup before I enable it by clicking Setup again, and if everything is the way I wanted it, then I click Enable. For right now, let's not enable this particular harvester. You'll recall that within our harvester window, we specified a reversal of 150 pips to stop the harvester. If we want to get even more specific about how we stop our harvester, we can do that too within the Advanced Management function. For instance, let's just say we've decided that the entry signals that we've chosen to start the harvester are also the signals that we would use to stop the harvester if they were going in the opposite direction. We could simply click Setup, then click Invert, and click OK. And now, in Events, we'll select the TS Matrix Any One signal, meaning that if any of the signals should go in the opposite direction, we would want to stop the harvester from opening any new trades in the original direction. Then we would go into our Action window and select Stop Harvester and make sure that the harvester ID is the same as the harvester we just started. Then we simply click Add and Enable. Now we have two ways in which the harvester stops, but keep in mind that if the market turns back in the direction of our initial trade, The harvester will restart when all of the conditions are met in the start harvester setup we created before. If we do not want to trade under certain conditions, say when the market is flat, we can create a contingency. Let's say we like to use market strength or average true range as determinants for whether or not we want to be trading. We can go into our events window and select TS Matrix any value. Now we go into setup, we reset our fields so that we have a blank canvas, and we select, say, ATR 14 on the 30 and 60 minute charts. Notice here that these do not have arrows as they're not signals, but are simply highlights. We'll click OK, and here in the Harvester Advanced Management window, you'll notice that below the Events window and to the right, we have a series of options in which we can select a particular value and choose whether or not we wish the ATR to be greater than, equal to, or less than this value. Let's choose greater than, say, 15, meaning that now we have at least a little bit of volatility in the market before we begin trading. Now, because this is a contingency, we don't need to tell the harvester to start or stop. We're only saying that the start harvester action we had previously set up will be contingent upon the average true range being above 15. So, for contingencies, we select Void No Action. And now we'll add this. Now that we've created this contingency, we need to tell the harvester which events will be affected by the contingency. When we add a contingency to our list of events, the software assigns a number to this, and in this case that number is 6. So now we'll go back into the Start Harvester event, and within the contingency on the Advanced ID number line here, we'll place the number 6. We'll then click Edit, which will automatically disable the event to allow this new information to be built into this particular action. And then we'll have to click Enable so the software knows we're ready for it to trade this setup. So to summarize, our trade setup will only take place as long as there's some movement in the market, based on our selection of average true range, and as long as the trend is in our direction, which we've specified on the 30 and 60 minute chart selections, and if any of our entry signals have been triggered. The harvester is now waiting on all of these conditions to be met before it begins trading. Now let's say we're not sure where the market is going, but we know that if it's trending in either direction, we want to profit from it. We can tell the software that we want to do that too. Imagine that the harvester that we just set up is also in place, ready to trade under the exact same circumstances, but in the opposite direction, meaning that the software is ready to trade in either direction the market wants to go. We can easily create this trading strategy as well. We simply select the last harvester, switch the operation, and if on this trade we're trading to the downside, a new box called Bid Trigger Move will open when we check the current price box. And since we're trading on market conditions, we'll select a market order by placing a 1 in the Bid Trigger Move box. All other conditions will remain the same. We have the option of choosing to place these orders in a separate open deal window. So let's just say we place this new one in a separate window and call it number 4. I'm going to add another component to this deal though that we didn't address in the previous harvester tutorial, but I'll explain it now. What I'm going to do here is add another layer of protection by specifying an additional trade interval in this naked TI or naked trade interval box. And this is what I'm telling the software to do. In the event that the market has turned against me after this harvester has already opened deals, to such an extent that the harvester is actually stopped by a reversal in the trend, I want to make sure that this harvester only restarts when the market has come back to a point where my unprotected or naked trades have reached a point of protection. You'll recall this illustration from the previous tutorial. Trade number 4 in this illustration is considered to be a naked trade because it didn't reach a point where a profit stop could be triggered. Because it was unprotected when the market turned, it became an orphan trade as the harvester was stopped by the market. If we specify a naked trade interval of, say, 40 here in this box, we're telling the software that in an event like the one in the illustration, we would not want the harvester to restart until the market is 40 pips beyond the point at which an unprotected trade in our trade sequence reaches its profit stop and becomes protected. We would not want the harvester to restart until the market is at least 40 pips beyond the point at which an unprotected trade in our trade sequence has reached its profit stop and becomes protected. Additionally, if I check this box entitled Include ODW or Include Open Deals window, I'm telling the software that, in this particular case, if there are any unprotected trades in my Open Deals window number 4, because remember that we're placing trades from this harvester in Open Deals window number 4, not to restart the harvester until the naked TI requirement is met. This relates specifically to the pair we've chosen for this trade and the direction that we're going in this harvester. This may seem a little confusing at first, but rest assured we'll be digging into these types of functions even more in our advanced tutorials. Now, since all the other parameters are to remain the same, we'll add this to the window below by clicking Add. We'll make note of the harvester ID number that's been assigned to this, and now we'll set up our advanced management to trade in the opposite direction. We click on Advanced, and now we simply select the setups from our initial harvester, open the windows by selecting Setup, and simply click Invert to change the directional signals. Now we click OK, and the only other thing that we need to do here is change the harvester ID. Now we click Add. We can do the same for both the Start Harvester and Stop Harvester actions, and we can keep our initial contingency, or of course we can create new contingencies. Once we're finished, we enable each one of our new actions, and we're done. If we want to save any of this, and want to keep track of it, we can simply add a note here. So let's say Forex setup from today's date, and then we can come up here and click Load/Save Complete Setup, and save this particular setup. We can also load setups we've already created by simply clicking this button as well. You may wish to set up a folder somewhere on your computer and save all of your setups in there so that you can load them later. You can imagine just how difficult it is to keep track of all these conditions when trading manually. Now imagine trying to keep track of all these conditions while trading multiple pairs. It's nearly impossible, or to say the least would require vast amounts of time sitting in front of the computer, waiting for all these conditions to align. Now the software does this for us, automatically, with more agility than any human being is capable of, and without emotion. It's our hope at ForexStat that this software will open a world of trading possibilities for you, as it certainly has for us. This concludes the final video tutorial in our introductory series. On behalf of everyone at ForexStat, I'd like to congratulate you on completing these crucial first steps to automating your trading, and I'd like to thank you for the time you've invested in learning the basic components of the software. There are countless strategies to employ in trading currencies. We recognize that in creating the software to accommodate a variety of strategies, we've developed a rather sophisticated tool that will take some time for you to learn. We encourage you to watch these videos as many times as you need, and to play with your demo account as much as possible, and when you're ready, we encourage you to visit the Advanced Tutorials section of our website to learn more about the advanced functions of the software and more about the strategies that we employ. Until next time, this is Jamie with ForexStat saying thank you for joining us.